Welcome to the Digital Maddy Show. This is a platform where I share my knowledge on video creation, digital marketing, chatbot marketing, and how to grow your business through video making. I also invite many influencers and digital marketers on this show and ask amazing questions to extract their secrets of business. Let's get started with your host. Hi, my name is Mithyl, and I am a YouTube and video creation coach, and I help aspiring video influencers to create and monetize their content through video making. Let me introduce today, we have an amazing guest on our show. She is a business coach and she's going to share with us certain secrets of vision, change, and also strategic roadmap to success. She is already into our studio. Let's welcome her. So let's welcome on our show, Kristine. Let me introduce her. She is a 34-year-old business coach and consultant that is inspired by helping other entrepreneurs build confidence and clarity so they can build epic strategies for growth. She is an MBA in project management and MAM in change leadership. As an extrovert, she loves to make people smile and laugh. Uh, she brings high energy and love building soulful connections with others. And in personal time, she loves yoga, traveling to new places, uh, do DIY home projects, and gardening. So, welcome, Kristine, to our show.
Thank you so much, Mithyl. I'm so happy to be here. I really appreciate you having me on.
Most welcome. So, Kristine, let me ask you one of my favorite questions. Uh, can you share one of your favorite quote or a line that motivates you on a daily basis?
I think so. Yeah, absolutely. I think one of my favorite quotes is, if I'm going to bet on anything, I'm going to bet on myself. And that's by Beyonce. And so I'd like to say we have something in common.
She is a rock star, and so are you.
Yes, absolutely. So honestly, you have to count on yourself, and you're the one that's going to push your life forward. And that's why I use it every single day, because it's so important to have faith in yourself and to have faith in your vision. And I'm sure we're going to talk a little bit more about that today, but I'm going to bet on me, baby.
Woohoo!
Exactly.
Yes. So, thank you so much for sharing that line. And Kristine, can you share some of your backstory to us?
Sure, absolutely. So let me start a little bit back. So I went to my undergrad. I went to University of Minnesota Duluth. I got to give them a shout out in Minnesota. And so I graduated with a BA in communication. And after that, I worked for a media company and did some sales and advertising. And that just wasn't my gig. I wanted to keep moving forward in my career. And so I ended up taking a position with a large conglomerate in my area. It was a retailer, and so it seemed like a really amazing position to take. And after a little while, I was an executive assistant, and I wanted to continue growing, and there wasn't an opportunity there. So I had to promote myself, and I decided to go back to school. So I went back to school, got my master's in project management and my MAM in change leadership. And at that point in time, like I said, it took me a couple of years to go to school and they wouldn't promote me. So I took another position within the company, promoted myself again. And once I graduated, I learned, obviously all of the experience I had, and then everything with school, I was ready for another promotion, right? Everybody wants a raise after they go to school, and they wouldn't promote me. So I promoted myself again. I quit that job and I took another job within the company and worked there for a couple of years. And at that point, this was about a year and a half ago, they had a reorg and I was laid off. And the rug was pulled out from underneath me. And it was one of those situations where if anyone's been in a layoff situation, it is devastating, especially when you put your heart and soul into it, right? And so for me, I was like, going back to the quote I talked about earlier, I was like, if I'm going to bet on anyone, I'm going to bet on myself. I'm going to start my own business, and dang it, I'm going to prove that I can do this. And just build on that growth mindset and really decide to become an authority in my space, right? I have project management experience. I'm pretty techie. And I was like, I'm pretty good in marketing, and I love working with people and helping people grow and really giving them the validation that they can do this. So that's a little bit about my backstory. And so for me, it was all about helping people recognize that whatever situation you've been in, you can come out of that and you can rise above it, and you can honestly excel to the nth degree. And all you need sometimes is a little push or someone helping you along the way. So.
Wow. So you are basically a change coach also. You've seen a lot of change and you have
a little bit. Yeah. I'm actually change management certified as well. So.
Cool. Awesome. So since you say you are a business coach and a consultant, so let's understand more with respect to that. And I think the question that I'm going to ask is going to be helpful to a lot of people, because most of the people are either not aware or they do not make the right one. So how do you build a vision in business?
Yes, that's such a good question. And it's really, whether you're an entrepreneur and you're starting your business, or you're in the thick of it, you're in the middle of your business, or you're in a leadership position, it's always so important to have a vision. So the companies that I've worked for in the past, they do strategic planning. You have a vision at the start, right? You always have to know where you want to go before you can build a plan to get there. And so that's why I think it's so important to have a vision, to build upon that, and then you can build your roadmap. So for me, when I work with my clients, that's one of the first things that we work through. We want to make sure that you are 100% clear on your goals. And the only way to make goals and create goals is to have a vision, have an idea of where you want to go. So I walk through a 3-step process. And when we walk through that 3-step process, it's super important for individuals to I usually tell my clients, take 2 hours of uninterrupted time. That means no distractions, close all the tabs on your computer, make sure the kids are away, make sure the husband's gone, make sure that you have a quiet place to work through this process, because it's so important to be able to dig deep into your own personal soul and figure out, okay, what do I really, really want? And so I walk through this 3-step process, and I can actually fill you in on that and fill your listeners in, because I think it'll be very valuable. So the first thing that we focus on is you. And I walk through a series of questions, really, really digging into those things that really are part of your fiber and what you can't live without. And then we talk through a series of questions, and you can find these on my website as well. But we talk through, things that make you proud. What are those really, really important things in your life, and really digging deep into those things that make you, you, right? And then from there, we actually jump into business. So it's very important to get very clear about you and your own personal vision before you jump into your business. And the reason I say that is because once you're clear on where you want to go, you can build a life that really fits into that set. So then we start asking questions about your business, like, what is it that you would absolutely love to create for your business? What is the impact that you want to make in the world? And if you continued on this path, would you be truly happy? And so what I've actually done is I created an audio vision meditation, because I think sometimes when we ask ourselves these types of questions, we tend to stay small. I don't know if you've ever seen this before, but people in business, you only know what you know. So it's so hard to really take yourself out of that element and say, what is actually possible? So I built a vision audio meditation so that people can actually follow along. And if they're not willing to pay for a coach, or if they don't have the resources to do so, then they could leverage this tool, and I can start to pull those things out of them, and then they can write it all down. They can journal it all down and really get clear about where they want to go. So that's the second step. And I encourage anyone that really may feel a little unclear in their path and where they want to go to take this. It's 5 minutes. So 5 minutes, and we'll put a link in there, I'm sure, right? And then the third step. So after answering those questions about you and then about your business, the third step is really to start living into that vision. And so there's a few different ways you can do that, but number one, you need to make sure that that goal is present in the forefront of your mind always. And the way you do that is, number one, make it visible. So you have to take small steps to getting there. And maybe it's not that big goal, maybe it's small steps, but writing those down. We are 10 times more likely to remember when we write those things down on paper and have them visible in front of us. The other one is tell the person that you care about the most what your vision is, where you want to go. I think sometimes vision sounds very foo-foo, out there, flowery, like rose petals, and people don't like to admit where they want to go because it might feel too out there to them. And they don't want people to judge them, and they don't want people to think anything differently of them because they have a different type of idea that they've never expressed before. But I guarantee that if you took the time to talk to the person that you care about the most and told them where you wanted to go in life and in business, they would 100% support you. And so that accountability, and they probably would hold you accountable too, right? Like, absolutely. I'm assuming at one point when you wanted to start this podcast, you told someone, right?
Yes, absolutely.
So, and then all of a sudden that person's like, oh, when are you starting that podcast up? But it's got to be a vision before it can be accomplished. We have to have, the idea before we can create it. So making sure to have those conversations and really just start living into it and understanding what's going to get in your way in the process. So that is a little bit about how to build a vision. And honestly, you can follow those steps if you're an entrepreneur, or if you could apply them if you're in business and you're a leader and you're really just looking to develop your career. So I hope that was helpful for your listeners. And like I said, they can download that audio meditation as well.
So all the people who are listening to this particular video or an audio, make sure you click that link. It is found in the description, and listen to that video, make a vision statement. And I'm sure you can connect to Kristine, share your views. She can also give her feedback, and you can make your vision come reality. So first of all, thank you so much, Kristine, for creating that audio and, supporting and helping a lot of people to actually first come with a vision so that they can get motivated and have a roadmap and they can reach to it. So since we have created a vision, what is the best way to start building a strategic roadmap for your business?
Yes, that is the best question, because we have to first step, we already talked about it, creating that vision. So having those ideas in mind. And then it's not just manifesting, it's actually creating a plan, right? It's creating a roadmap of how to get there. So what I always do with my clients is, it is so important, okay? And this is if you have a coach out there, you 100% need to be driving the bus. So once you've created that vision, you have an idea of where you want to go. Now it's all about goal setting. Now it's about creating a roadmap. And sometimes this can be difficult. Sometimes this can be easy. I personally think if you have mapped out your vision in a way that is true to you and that you feel 100% comfortable that this is where you want to go, this is what you want to do, creating a plan to getting there is going to be easy because you're passionate about it. So the first thing that you need to do is you need to map out where you currently are. So when I work with my clients, I want them to create goals, but they also need to have an understanding of where they currently are. So these things work hand in hand. We walk through, and I usually tell them, stay smaller with 3 goals for your vision, right? So try to stay 3 goals right off the bat. One of them, I always tell them, needs to be a number, because we're in business to make money, and it doesn't need to be an icky thing. It's not icky to make money. We all need it to survive. And it's really just an exchange of energy. And so that one of those goals needs to be a number you need to hit. Big, small, indifferent. Just a number you need to hit, and then figuring out how to get there. And then the other two are really those ways in which you're going to work towards that vision. Now, keeping in mind, a vision is not something that you achieve in a year. A vision and if it is, then it's not a good enough. Then we gotta raise it up a little bit, right?
That can be a milestone. If it's in a year, milestone.
What was that?
I'm saying if you are able to make it into a year, I think it's a milestone. It's not a vision. Vision has to be
Exactly. So you're not thinking big enough. And that sometimes is why you need people to pull that vision out of you, right? Because you're thinking too small. All too often we try to stay in this box. And so you have to think bigger. So yes, creating a goal and then building milestones off of those goals is how we work through creating a roadmap. Now, the other important piece in this, it's not just about hitting those milestones, because like you just said, hitting a milestone could be something that takes a year. And then once you hit that milestone, you still need to get to that ultimate goal. So what I love to do is we also build out tactics and ways of getting there. And so what I've created actually, and I'm launching a course in June, is I've created templates to go along with my course, because I think it's so important to be organized, have those goals top of mind, and then the tactics in your calendar so you can see what you're doing. What is so important in business is that you need to be aware of all of your activities, and they need to back up to a particular ROI. And that ROI needs to be backed up to a goal. And if your activities, you need to ask yourself and double check yourself every single day and say, am I doing something that I'm going to make money off of? And be very, very, very honest with yourself, because the Facebook scroll is not going to get you anywhere. That's not going to make you any money today. I'm being serious. But every single activity that you're doing should really layer up to an ROI. So when we create roadmaps for my clients, we'll work through what is their vision, backing out 3 goals. And then from there, those goals, each of them will have milestones attached to them. And depending on the size of those milestones, we'll also have tactics attached to those. And so what's so important when you're doing this activity is just making sure that it's always, always, always woven back or it ladders back up to that vision as you're creating these different levels of your goal setting.
Cool. So first of all, Kristine, I think you just shared almost all your secrets of how to do that. So thank you so much for that. So Kristine, we spoke about vision, we spoke about the strategic roadmap, and I think all the people who are either startups or entrepreneurs, if the roadmap has been set with a vision and they need to know how they have to go ahead, if the road is straight, it will be very easy, and I think everybody can do it. But it isn't. Like, since the roads are not straight, they are all curvy, and you always get some hurdle or obstacles, which we technically called as change. So how do people have to plan for change?
Yes, that is such a good question. Here's the deal. You can't plan for change. You just need to be agile enough to endure it. So perfect example is when we build out a roadmap for my clients, I will say, okay, you're going to build a content calendar that layers on top of this, right? So that you can plan out what you're going to talk about over the next 12 months. And then you're going to layer in all of your content. Well, what happens when you need to make a pivot in business, when maybe a world pandemic hits the fan, and you decide that I need to offer a different type of service? So for example, I'm working with a photographer right now. And unfortunately, photographers have been hit really, really hard, right? And so they need to figure out different ways to help their clients and help their customers during this pandemic so that when they are able to meet with them again, they are top of mind. So my recommendation was, okay, if you look at that content calendar, you originally were planning to talk about X, Y, and Z. And now we need to adjust your strategy. What my best recommendation would be, and this is to anyone that's listening to this, and I think we're in May right now, so in the next couple of months, you know your customer. And so you may not be able to do the same type of activities or work in the same way that you currently are today. However, what you can do, and you know your craft better than anyone else, so you can provide them with recommendations right now of what they can do at home or what they can do in their current situation to supplement without you there. How can they prepare for the next 3 months so that when they do open, they have an opportunity, and they've also been top of mind with their customers. So by being their advocate and by providing them with different types of recommendations, it allows you to not only be the expert and the advocate for them, but it also allows you to be top of mind when they're able to work with you again. So that is a perfect example of being agile, changing your strategy. You're going to create a roadmap because it's a lot easier to work off of a plan than work off of nothing and start from scratch. But you need to be agile enough to be able to change and be willing to change and get creative with your strategy so that you can meet your customer where they are, right?
Absolutely.
So that's really how I frame out being agile with your customer.
So Kristine, with the keeping change in mind, because you need to do that, and you need to also set your vision and the strategic roadmap. So all the people who are listening to this particular episode, if they want to have such kind of roadmaps where they have at least some clear idea of what they need to do, is there a way they can either people connect to you or a platform where they can get all this?
Yes, absolutely. So my website is reinventyourhustle.com. So you can go on there. I have a million different freebies and blogs on there, but we will provide you with a link to, I actually created a roadmap. And so it's in Excel, so anyone can use it. And really, when you access this, I highly recommend you read the blog that goes along with it. But if you don't want to, that's fine. And just take what serves you and leave the rest. And honestly, it will work through creating strategy on a page. It will work through what does it look like annually. It will work through each milestone and then the tactics that go with each milestone. So absolutely, they can download that for free. We'll provide you with a link, right? And if you have any questions at all, please reach out. And like I said, I use Trello. I don't know if have you ever used Trello before?
Yes.
Yeah, so I use Trello, and what I started to do is actually pull a lot of these types of, just the whole ideas behind them, and actually start to organize them within Trello. So that is also going to be part of my course coming up, launching in June. For those of you that are listening, you can certainly check that out. But that is so important, regardless of where you're at, to have organization, whether it's in Trello or some type of project management system, just to be organized and have all of those things top of mind and visually there for you every step of the way.
Cool. So thank you so much for giving this roadmap templates to people. And I think this is going to be only a strong recommendation to all the people who are action takers. And second, rather than hoarding all these templates, only people who are into execution, because that's the main thing. If they execute it, they'll get the results. So only to those people who are action takers, download this, make the changes into it, and walk through. Awesome. So Kristine, since we are at the end of this episode, would you like to say something to our viewers?
I'd love to. I would just say, I'm a kind of person that wants to build a community of high vibes, soulful entrepreneurs around me, because I think that's what this life is about, right? It's about building relationships so we can help each other out and grow with one another. So if you want to connect with me, I would love, love, love to meet you. My name is Kristine, and I am on Instagram at Reinvent Your Hustle, or you can find me on Facebook. I also have a Facebook group if you want to connect, and we can work and jam out in there. I'd love to meet you and find out more about your business. Otherwise, keep your eyes peeled. Jump on my email list by downloading that strategy doc, and I will let you know all the latest and greatest deals coming with my new course that's coming out.
Great. Awesome. So thank you so much, Kristine, for being on this show and giving so many value bombs that is going to help all the entrepreneurs, startups, and anyone who at least now have an idea to begin with and coming out of this pandemic situation and start something new. So thank you so much for giving
you're
so much
so
value.
welcome. Thank you so much, Mithyl, for having me on. It's been a pleasure.
Absolutely. So you have just listened to the Digital Maddy Show with your host, Mithyl Dave, and we have an awesome guest over here, Kristine. Just gave lots of values with respect to change, with respect to vision statements, with respect to strategic roadmaps. So thank you so much, Kristine, once again for sharing so much value.
My pleasure. Thank you so much.